way, take a right, and lady with the flag. Go that way, take a right. That way, take a right to the lady with the flag. That way, take a right to the lady with the flag. Right that way, take a right to the lady with the flag. Going straight, straight, and the next right. Yep.
Đi lấy cái lá cà Mỹ rồi đó.
Go that way, take a right to the lady with the flag. That way, take a right to the lady with the flag. Go that way, take a right to the lady with the flag. Go that way, take a right to the lady with the flag.
All right. Thank you.
Miss. Go that way, take a right to the lady with the flag.
Right there.
Yep, and she'll send you to the guy that's going to see you. So that way.
There's my family. I have 2 kids.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. That way, take a right. That way, you're going to queue up the line right there.
Checking and then back there.
We also
Yeah, I just want to wait for the ceremony. So we got to do it all. We're both born in Denmark, so we have 3 kids. Yeah.
in that direction. See the gal with the flag?
The kid. We want them to see.
So, is it just you?
Yeah.
So he'll sit up front. You guys will sit in the back.
But he knows.
Gotta go that way, and you see straight ahead to the right. Straight ahead to the right.
Okay.
Straight ahead to the right.
Thank you.
Right this way to the right. Right through there to the right.
Thank you.
나오지 않은 계약 건데.
If you want to kind of, is your party here already? Okay. Well, so depending on where, if she's sitting, you're going to sit in the back. You're not going to sit with her. You're going to sit in the back. So if you want to sit in the section she's going to be in,
State. C stands for no
let's see, where's the line? Okay, you can probably
ceremony, right? And I stands for if it's not international, it might be enable immigration. What about that? So mira, este me cago
the gal with the flag there? See the gal with the flag? You're going to follow her.
Yeye mzee kesho yuko wapi? Miaka yake kiambe atapita na watu. Nusu inakuwa mkuu. Unakuwa kujua nini? Gani? Yani mbali zaidi kutokana na nini? Hivi ni kwa hiyo walisemana na yeye kutoka kwanza. Yeye tekea kwanza na mapendo na watoto. Anapita na watoto yote. Hakuna tatizo. Wewe watafanya tu manania.
Na mzee pale ndo wakipata wanaongea.
Ndio mwana. Kwa sababu niliambia kama ndio mwapa.
Watu wa immigration.
Yeah. Wale wa USC.
Wale wa mzee
No, io incontro con te, con te no.
Yeah, like shingles, but it looks like it.
It's 125.
Information on applying for a passport after a naturalization ceremony today. Congratulations, everybody, on your naturalization. After today, you can apply for a U.S. passport book or passport card to travel internationally. One main difference between a passport book and card, if you're going to apply, is that the card can only be used for land and sea travel to Canada, Bahamas, and Mexico, and then the book is good for everything. And then our website, so this is where you're going to find all the information you'll need in order to obtain a passport. It will have the new forms that can be printed off on the website, filled out digitally. If it asks you for a fee to fill out the DS-11 or application for a passport, then you're on the wrong website. Make sure you go to our website at ensign.gov. And then it'll also have additional information there on how soon you need it, because that'll dictate where you apply. If you need it within 14 business days or less, you'll actually come into the passport office that I work at down in Minneapolis, and I might see you again. So here's a QR code if you guys want to pull out your phones and take a picture. Otherwise, it'll be on business cards that we have at our booth if you'd like to get a business card on your way out, and it'll bring you directly to the travel.state.gov website. So what everybody that just naturalized will need to apply is you'll need to complete an application form, and it's called a DS-11. You'll need to get a passport photo. You'll have to pay for the passport fee, so we recommend that you get your checks and bring them in to wherever you're applying at, and then your naturalization certificate. If you need it within 14 business days or sooner, we're going to also ask for your itinerary showing that you have a need for it sooner. So unfortunately, this slide is outdated. We have to update it. There are no DS11s at the table, but there are business cards that will bring you to travel.state.gov where you can fill out the form electronically and you can print it for free. So just a reminder once again, if it asks you to pay for the form, you're on the wrong website. Make sure you go back to travel.state.gov. Passport photos. This is one of the most common things that we won't be able to approve an application right away for. So there's just some general guidelines here. Just make sure it's passport size. That was taken within the last 6 months. So if we see on your naturalization certificate that it's got a photo that was from more than 6 months ago and it matches what you're submitting on your application, we're not going to accept it. We're going to send you a letter saying, hey, you need a new one. Make sure that the background's okay and it doesn't have any design. So if you take a photo in front of a garage door or a door with a design on it, we will not be able to accept that photo. It has to be like a smooth, plain white background. Make sure that your expression is natural, not like an I won the lottery smile. You are allowed to smile, but just don't make it look like you just won the lottery. And that it's not over or underexposed and there's no eyeglasses. In addition, if you use filters, please do not use filters on passport photos. There are several of them that we have to send back and ask for one that's natural. Checks, so make sure they're payable to the Department of State. No matter where you apply, we accept check and money order. If you're coming to the Minneapolis office, we do accept credit card, but most places only accept check if you're applying at like the universities or county offices. There's some general information on fees. There's an execution fee. That's the fee we charge to give an oath and then also take the ownership of the application and submit it. The passport book itself is $130. The passport card is $30. And if you need it sooner than the 4 to 6 week routine processing time frame, you can pay an expedite fee, and it's $60, and it'll allow you to get the passport back in 2 to 3 weeks. So I get this question all the time. You do need to submit your original naturalization certificate, and yes, you will get it back. So don't worry about it. It stays in the office that receives the application, and we mail everything back once we're completed the passport process. So here's some information on where to apply. There's over 100 different locations. So our region encompasses North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota. And if you go to the travel.state.gov website, you don't need your passport within 14 days. You type in your zip code and it'll tell you the closest locations to apply at your house, whether they need an appointment, and whether they take passport photos there. So you don't need to come into the Minneapolis office unless you have urgent need for a passport. It'll save you $60 for the expedite fee anyways. So routine processing times right now we're sitting at about 6 to 8. What is 6 or 6 to 8? I can't read it. I think I've outdated slides too. Expedite is 2 to 3 weeks. If you need it in 14 days or sooner, then you'll be referred over to our office down in Minneapolis, and we potentially can do same-day passports there. It's just dependent upon how soon you need it. So for instance, if you're leaving on Thursday, we'd set you up for a pickup on Wednesday. We generally give it to the person the day before the trip. Thank you for your time, and congratulations to everyone. And that's it. That's all I got for you.
Good afternoon and congratulations. I'm Sue Pierce with the Minnesota League of Women Voters. One of the League's missions is to support voter registration and voter information. In a few minutes, you'll take an oath and become citizens of the United States of America. As citizens, you gain the right to vote in all elections, local, state, and national. You must be registered to vote. When you checked in, you should have received a Minnesota voter registration form. You can fill it out now as you wait for the ceremony to begin. You've probably seen us all running around with bags with pens. If you need a pen, just wave your hand and somebody will get one to you. If you are changing your name during the ceremony, be sure to use your new name when registering to vote. You're going to want to fill out the lines 1 through 7. In response to question number 1, are you a U.S. citizen? You get to say yes. We will pick these up after the official oath has been taken and you are officially a U.S. citizen. You really need your name and address and a birth date. You can skip information about school district or county, but do put in some kind of contact information, a phone number, an email address, in case someone has questions about your voter registration form when they process it. The box that says you have a Minnesota driver's license or Minnesota ID number, if you have that information available, put that number in those boxes. Otherwise, if you know the last 4 digits of your social security number, you can fill that in on the next box. And then finally, and most importantly, please, please, please sign the form. We can do a lot of information, get information over the phone or by email, but we can't sign a form for you. We strongly encourage you to complete the form and turn it in after the ceremony today. Just that will get it all taken care of. There is a potential that there will be legislation that makes registering to vote a little bit harder and makes you jump a few more hurdles. So we think it's really in your best interest to get it turned in today. You should be getting a postcard in the mail within 2 to 3 weeks verifying that you are registered to vote. We encourage your active participation in our political process. You are the future of our country. Learn about the candidates and the issues. Ask questions and voice your opinions. Democracy works best when we are all involved. Your vote is your voice in the political process. Again, congratulations on becoming citizens.
Is Officer Anderson, and I am with the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. We will begin shortly, but I have some announcements before the ceremony begins. So first off, all cell phones should be silenced or placed on vibrate. Please do not have your phone going off during the ceremony when court's in session. You are allowed to take photographs during these proceedings. Men should remove their hats or caps unless you are wearing it for religious reasons. You will receive your certificate at the end of the ceremony. So, when you get your certificate, please check the following. 1, that your name is spelled correctly. 2, that your date of birth is correct. 3, if you have requested to legally change your name, please check to make sure your new name appears on the certificate and you have received a sealed copy of your name change petition. If any corrections are needed, there will be a table at the back over there where you can contact U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service representatives right after the ceremony. In 10 days, you should also contact the Social Security Administration to update your citizenship and immigration status. When you filed your Form N-400, if you have checked that box, Social Security should be sending you corrected information. Otherwise, you can complete the application online at ssa.gov/ssnumber. After you have submitted your application, you will have 45 days to submit your original naturalization certificate. If you live in the Twin Cities metro area, you will need to visit the Minneapolis Card Center. And if you live outside the metro area, please visit your local Social Security office. And if you have any name change or date of birth corrections, you will also need to submit Court Order Form 602. All interpreters who are accompanying an applicant today should adhere to the following instructions when the oath of allegiance is administered. When directed by the judge, please instruct your applicant to stand, raise their right hand, and repeat the oath of allegiance. As the judge is administering the oath of allegiance in English, you need to interpret the oath to the applicant in their own language, giving them sufficient time to repeat each line of the oath in their language as a meaningful oath. Also very important, if you are naturalizing today in our city, please do not move your seats. If you move your seat, we may not be able to get you your certificate. So if you are sitting right now somewhere, please make sure it was the original spot that you were set it at. We will begin shortly. Thank you.
The Honorable John R. Thunheim presiding.
Good afternoon, everyone. You may be seated. Welcome to this very special session of the United States District Court for the District of Minnesota. My name is John Thunheim. I'm one of the United States District Court judges that cover the entire state of Minnesota. It's a federal district here in Minnesota. And it's my privilege today to have the opportunity to preside over this special ceremony in which we will be welcoming the newest citizens of the United States. I say newest, it'll probably only be for about 5 minutes because these ceremonies go on every day across the country. And it's a wonderful part of my job to be able to preside over these ceremonies and finish the process of making new citizens of so many of you who come from so many different places. We're going to start with the national anthem. It'll be played on the video, and so would you all please stand?
Whose but times and bright stars rule the
Before we get to the primary business of the court session today, we are going to spend just a moment recognizing the countries from which all of you have come. I think this is a very important part of our ceremony today. You've all come from home countries where you have been citizens, and that's very important to all of you, and it's important to us that you've come from another place, and we'd like to recognize that. So I'm going to read the names of the countries that are represented here by the new citizens today. When you hear your country, please stand for just a moment, and then you can sit down and go on to the next country, but I think it's important to recognize that homelands that you have come from are important to you and to all of us as well. So we will start with Australia. Okay, Benin. Bolivia. The Central African Republic. Costa Rica. Denmark. France. Greece. Guyana. Hong Kong. Iran. Israel. Moldova. Morocco. Nepal. Nicaragua. Pakistan. Russia. Senegal. Sudan. Trinidad and Tobago. Turkey. Turkmenistan. West Bank. Zimbabwe. Argentina. The Bahamas. Bosnia and Herzegovina. Burundi. The Dominican Republic. Egypt. The Gambia. Guinea. Ireland. Jamaica. Peru. Sierra Leone. Spain. Thailand. Venezuela. South Korea, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Taiwan, the United Kingdom, Colombia, Congo,
Yes.
Guatemala, Togo, Uganda, Bangladesh, Eritrea, Honduras, Belarus, Cambodia, Cameroon, Ukraine, Ghana, Iraq, Brazil, India, Nigeria, Ecuador, El Salvador, Germany, Canada, the Philippines, the People's Republic of China, Kenya, Liberia, Vietnam, Ethiopia, Somalia, Burma, and Mexico. Let's give all the countries around the flag. All right, now let's get down to the business of this court session. Today I'm going to call on Nick Anderson, who is the lead Immigration Services Officer. He will make the necessary motions to the court to enable the court to administer the oath of allegiance to all of you. Mr. Anderson?
Your Honor, if it pleases the court, the government recommends the oath of allegiance be administered to 501 applicants for naturalization who has of the United States and have resided within the Minneapolis-St. Paul, Minnesota district for the required 3-month period. They are persons of good moral character who are attached to the principles of the Constitution and form of government of the United States. The government recommends that the court administer the oath of allegiance as required by law, so that the applications and applicants may be admitted to citizenship, and that the name changes requested in their petitions be granted. Thank you.
Thank you. Your motion on behalf of the United States government to admit all of you as citizens and administer the oath to you this afternoon, as well as the petitions for name change, are hereby granted. Now, if all of the new citizens would please stand. This is the naturalization oath, the oath of allegiance. I'm going to ask you all to raise your right hands. The words will be on the screen if you'd like to follow along, but you can listen to me and follow as well. So please repeat after me. I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by the law, that I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by the law, that I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by the law, and that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Congratulations. Be seated. I just have a few words for you today. First of all, let me be the first to warmly welcome you on becoming a citizen of the United States of America. I'm very happy you have chosen to become an American citizen. And I'm very proud to welcome you as brothers and sisters to the rights and responsibilities of citizenship in our American democracy. You are among the over 12,000 new citizens we welcome each year in the state of Minnesota. And today is a very simple ceremony, but it reflects great determination and many of your parts, courage. Welcome to each of you. You are not alone. America is indeed a nation of immigrants. Originally, We all came from somewhere else, including our Native American brothers and sisters who were here long before the rest of us. In my case, it was 3 generations ago. My ancestors all left Norway in boats and came to the United States, coming through New York and eventually making their way to Minnesota. Norway at the time was pretty much a frozen third world country. People were starving, and they came for a new life, a new opportunity in life, like many of you. They came with this dream of a country that had spacious skies and room and amber waves of grain to feed. And they were naturalized as American citizens in a process that hasn't changed very much over time. They were, and just like you, and many of you, they were apprehensive about leaving family and friends and places that were so familiar to them from their childhood. I like to tell the story of one of my great-grandmothers. She left Norway as a 20-year-old bride with her husband. They came on a boat. I know a lot about their boat trip because someone on the boat who was a friend of theirs wrote a book about it. So there's great detail on the hardships of crossing the ocean in a boat 125 years ago. But she told her children, she had 9 surviving children, she told them each that she had a dream that they would grow up to be Norwegians who would add something special to America. In other words, she told them that they should not forget about their heritage, about where they came from. Heritage. Don't let your children forget about your experiences in your home countries, and be a good citizen. That's what we expect from all of you. Because America is a much stronger country when every citizen participates. And that's what a democracy is all about. Let me give you one example, and that's the example, a simple one, of a coat. We don't much need one today for a change, but about a week ago, we were all wearing coats, maybe more than one. But a coat is much stronger when you weave into it different threads of many different colors and types of fabric. And so it is, I think, with our country. It is a much stronger country when we weave in people of different colors, languages, cultures, and experiences from around the world. I want to just give you a few words from a president not too long ago in our country, President Ronald Reagan. He said that all of the immigrants who come to us bring their own music, they bring their literature, their customs, and their ideas. And the marvelous thing, the thing of which we are proud, is that they do not have to relinquish these things in order to fit in. In fact, what new citizens have brought to America became American. And this diversity has more than enriched us. It has literally shaped us. I think those were wise words spoken by a president not too long ago. And you know what I think is that the country is stronger and wiser than it was moments ago, because you're now part of the great American story. You will contribute to our American story with your hopes, your aspirations, your skills, your heritage, your culture, your music, your language, your literature, your food, and your dreams. So the American story really is now your story. Tell your story to your children and to your grandchildren. In your accents, we all hear the voices of our own youth, the immigrants and children of immigrants who surrounded us in this great country. I knew I grew up with immigrants and children of immigrants in my small town, and I valued so much what they had to say about their country they came from and about America. You know, citizenship brings many rights and responsibilities. You've learned about that as part of the naturalization process. Many of those rights are guaranteed by our remarkable Constitution. It is the oldest Constitution still in effect in this world. And I'm just going to mention 2 of those rights, the right to vote and the right to serve on juries. Voting is extremely important. and it is very easy. You can even register to vote on election day in Minnesota. You have the same right to vote as I do. Please vote and help choose your local community leaders. That's important. Our state leaders and our national leaders. Promise yourselves today that you will take every advantage to vote, every opportunity to vote. Voting is your responsibility as a citizen. The studies show that new citizens vote very regularly in the first 5 or 6 years, and then voting tails off after that. Don't let that happen. We need your voice. We need your vote. Everyone needs to vote in order to choose wise leaders for our country. Someday you may receive a summons to show up for jury duty. That's not something to be discouraged about or to grumble about. It is your responsibility as a citizen. It could be to your county courthouse. It could be to one of our federal courthouses. We entrust very important decisions each and every day to citizen juries in our country. Juries decide whether someone is guilty or not guilty of a crime. What could be a more important decision? If you serve on a jury, I guarantee you, you will have a remarkable experience. So let me close today with remembering what another American president said now over 60 years ago, President Kennedy, who reminded us that we love our country, not for what it was, though it has always been great. Not for what it is, though of this we are deeply proud, but for what it someday can, and through the efforts of us all, someday will be. Thank you for joining us in the United States of America and sharing in the great American experiment in democracy. Continue to live your own dreams and be an important part of the American story. We welcome you with open arms and grateful hearts. Thank you. We will now watch another video, America the Beautiful. Let's wave those flags one more time. Thank you everyone for being here. Those of you in the back who are friends and family and supporters, thank you so much for coming. This is an important day for all of the new citizens. Thank you for being here. I'll now recess the court, but one final congratulations to all of our new citizens. Now, all of you who are new citizens, please stay right where you are. You're going to get certificates, which is very important, so don't move. We know who's seated where, and you're going to get your certificates, so congratulations. We'll be in recess.
Once again, when you get your certificate, please check to make sure your name is correct, your date of birth, and your other information on your certificate is correct. If there is something that is not correct and you leave today with your certificate, that may be all it. As well, if you have any questions about your certificate or do not receive one, please go see a Citizenship and Immigration Service representative in the back. Once again, thank you and congratulations, everyone.
Wanaanza enda ibada.